Welcome back to Message Crawler Update. Today I'm going to ask 3 recently asked questions which tend to come up over and over. So let's go to my screen just so we have something to look at, and I'm going to answer these questions. First question, how come Message Crawler 5 took so long? Well, once I purchased this new user interface, this new tabbed layout and all these pretty icons and new user interface, I just couldn't help myself creating new things. I didn't have time to test. I wanted to build, I wanted to innovate, I wanted to create. And testing is, if you haven't done that, you know, is absolutely no fun at all. So I spent time designing these icons, adding features, messing about with these menus. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. And I was on a roll and I was just going at it. And honestly, like I said, I just couldn't help myself. I couldn't stop. I was building and wasn't testing. So once I stopped, got back to my testing, and that's when I was able to release the application. Now, the second problem that kept coming up is synchronization between this data grid and data that is stored underneath in the memory. And everything would work fine most of the time, but whenever you would do like sort, maybe some filter, once you play with your data a little bit, things start to get desynchronized. Like if you sort, sometimes you would sort few attachments here and a few attachments there, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. Now the good thing was, if you would just use the application as normal, like import data, kind of do one sort and export, everything would be fine. But it's once you apply those multiple levels of sorting and searching and filtering, things would start to go crazy. So that took me a little while to figure out, and the reason is this grid isn't a direct drop-in replacement from the previous grid that's provided by Microsoft. So that's why I had to figure out how to kind of use the new grid basically. And so that was the second reason why Message Crawler 5 took so long. All right, next question is, what's up with this convert menu? And the idea here is we can convert our data in a couple of ways. We can import data into grid. We can analyze it, work with it, perform deduplication. We can do all kinds of crazy things, and then go to export and export however we need to. Now, this is a great idea, and a lot of companies and a lot of people, they don't know how they want their data exported, and they're kind of experimenting with different ways. Do we want to export by day, by week, by month? And so this is something they're able to do by using this import and export tool. Now, as we collectively as a community starting to figure out how text messages work, how we can, what we really want, I'm starting to create these conversion tools that are much simpler, right? So if we go to like a Slack conversion, way fewer options, because as I figured out, most of the Slack conversions don't need as much, you know, don't need all the power of Message Crawler. You don't need name normalization. You don't need deduplication, because you just don't have those things. And what a lot of people want is they just want to convert their data. And so this is what this tool does, is it gives you quick access to converting your files. So if I can go to convert, I can click on Oxygen, and all I'm going to do is specify my import path, export path, one option, and done. Off it goes, right? And it's just going to run and it's do its thing. And you don't have to worry about sorting or anything like that. You will get RSMF files that are usable, and most people will be fine with. And if you are not fine with it for some reason, then you can take the long ways. You can import, go to Oxygen, load that into grid, start analyzing, deduplicating, doing all kinds of stuff, and going through the manual export process. So that's what I'm doing here with the conversion tools. They're meant to be less feature-rich, but easier to use, as well as they're meant to use less memory. So if you're going to do convert, if you're going to be converting like a Slack set, some of them can be huge. And so what this conversion tool will do is, instead of trying to load everything into memory, it's going to take little chunks out of it, and it's going to load a little chunk, convert to RSMF, save it, clear the memory, go back, grab the next chunk, do the same. And this way you're never gonna get, or hopefully never gonna get, out of memory errors or something like that. All right, and the third question that comes up, why am I not using the database for this tool? And the reason is there's so much variety in data that we're dealing with, that trying to maintain the database that conforms to all these different data variations would really slow down the development, and it may not even be needed. So I'm sure you've used relativity, concordance, something like that, where you have to go in and build all the fields, figure out field types and this and that. If I bring that complexity into message crawler, it will take longer to develop, as well as if you're loading like a DAT file, you would have to create all fields, or me having to try to create those fields automatically. It's really going to delay the process. The application will run slower. So we have all kinds of downsides to it. Yes, we would be able to load much bigger sets, like we would be able to load multiple gigs like export into it, but then I have to deal with other problems, because we'll need to create fields in the database. We'll need to deal with those complications which normal e-discovery software has to deal with. And by loading data into memory, into a temporary table, I avoid that, and the application runs 1,000 times faster than if it had a database on the back end. Now, to deal with large sets, we are using, or we're going to be using, convert tools as much as possible that will eliminate that need for a database, because these tools will take smaller chunks out of data and convert them. So hopefully that answers the question why database is not needed, and I don't actually want to use a database for message crawler. So those have been 3 most frequently asked questions that I get. If you have any more, put them on the comment section below. In any case, thank you for checking out this video. I'll see you on the next update.